Greetings once again, people on YouTube. This is Fromark of Fromark Industries and the Fromark Plays Show, and it's been a little while since I did one of these here Fromark Talks episodes. So let's go ahead and just dive right in, shall we? To start off this video, I hope you are all staying safe and doing well. I know I am, because I've had an eventful couple of months since the last time I filmed one of these episodes. It has been a little over 2 years now since I quit smoking cigarettes, chewing, vaping, all the nicotine usage, and I haven't looked back. It's been pretty cool, to be honest, for me to be able to stick to it this far, because I remember when I was in the midst of chain smoking, I was always talking about quitting every day, every single day. I would be like, today is my quit day. I'm finally gonna quit, yeah! And I never would, and people would always call me out on it, and I don't blame them. But I finally managed to make it stick this time around, and 2 years in, I'm feeling probably the best I've ever felt. I'm the healthiest I've ever been, because on top of this, quitting nicotine, I've been able to stay in the gym and focus more on my health and fitness. So along with continuing to work on my physical health and my mental well-being and all that good stuff, I am also in the midst of finishing up the Honest Lies EP. All that's really left to do at this point is record one more song. I just need to record one last song, and I've got it written. I just need to buy an acoustic guitar to record it, because it's going to be the ballad. It's going to be the single off the album, if you will. It's going to contrast from the rest of the EP, but I wanted to take this direction for at least one song and see if I could write like some kind of crappy little love song. I'm really hoping to have this EP done in October. Here's the final track list for the EP. I thought I'd go ahead and share that with you. Which one are you looking the most forward to out of the 6? To be honest with you, I owe a lot to my friends who have kind of helped fill in the gaps on parts of the EP, because without them, the album probably wouldn't get done, and at least not as quickly as it's come along so far. But yeah, I've had a couple of my friends come in and do a little bit of work here and there, and well, the EP's getting done with a little help from my friends. So it's certainly been an eventful couple of months since my last video, because I was in the midst of possibly buying some property that belonged to my late grandfather many years ago, and he sold it to one of our neighbors, and they don't want it anymore because they're like relocating, and so it ended up in the neighbor's daughter's hands, and I thought I was going to get a really good deal on the property. Now, initial texts showed that they were offering they wanted $2,500 for the property, which was practically a steal, and pretty fair, to be honest with you, because there's just so much that needs done to it. A whole house needs knocked down, it needs cleaned up, still too many weeds and brush to cut, and just no septic system, no electric. It's a mess over there. And so I met with the people at the courthouse thinking that I was gonna just give them the money, sign everything over, and at the 11th hour, 59th minute, and 59th second, after they had showed up late at the courthouse, they decided to say,
"Oh no, we didn't want $2,500 for it. We wanted $25,000 for it."
Like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not paying 25 grand for that. Especially when my grandpa only sold it for $6,800, and it probably wasn't even worth that. But, you know, some people nowadays are willing to pay high prices for property and homes and all that stuff. So maybe they will find somebody to take them up on their absurd offer. I'll be honest with you, it was probably a mistake on my part to start doing some yard work on it whenever it wasn't mine to begin with. But since I live next door to it, my family and I live next door to my parents, and anyways, like, I was gonna just walk next door and just start cleaning it up little by little, thinking I'm gonna go ahead and get it and then it might be a done deal, but boy was I wrong. But that's okay, you know, because they'll get theirs. Either they'll get theirs, or, you know, maybe if I'm lucky and enough time passes, maybe they'll come to their senses and I can get a better deal on it. Until then, I'm just gonna keep saving money, and hopefully I can figure out something for my future, because, you know, I would really like to have my own home, my own property, my own land. I think that's part of the American dream for most people. And I know it is for me. That's like my ultimate end goal, to get a piece of land and settle down on it. But it's just really hard to do that in today's society because the housing market's a joke. Everything's way too expensive and nearly impossible to do on the... That's definitely impossible really to do on the money I make. But anyways, despite all that, I did do a little bit of yard work over there naively. And I spent a lot of days and nights clearing brush and cutting weeds and pulling weeds and roots and dead trees and burning trash. I'll be honest, I'm gonna miss the big bonfires every night that I was doing over at what used to be my grandparents' old burning pit. It was a lot of fun making those giant fires just with nothing but brush and weeds and kerosene. Maybe I'll still do that once in a while, but now that it's not really to my benefit, screw it. I don't want anything to do with that property unless there is a chance that it can become mine. But only time will tell, I guess. Oh yes, so in my last video I mentioned that I had some car issues, that my friend accidentally backed over the front of my car with his truck, and well, I got the car taken to the body shop and they replaced the parts and insurance covered the whole thing, and we were all able to move on pretty smoothly from it until I hit a raccoon and it pretty much cracked the front grille a little bit, and kind of sucks because I just got the car back a couple of weeks ago at the time of recording this, and then for me to hit a raccoon almost as soon as I get it back and crack the grill, it sucks, but sometimes nature just doesn't like me. So the cool thing about having my car back is I've actually been able to do some pretty cool stuff recently. I went to Cleveland for the first time, checked out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum while I was there. Got a nice bite to eat, took tons of pictures. Unfortunately, I didn't take any pictures in the Rock Hall of Fame because I'm pretty sure pictures weren't really allowed as much in there. But it's alright, I got to see all kinds of cool stuff in there. And even though the gift shop was quite expensive, I was still able to get a pack of guitar picks and a nice little Bic lighter. And while I was in Cleveland, I was also there for the Blink-182 concert, which I have been a Blink-182 fan since at least 2011, and it's like a dream come true to finally see them in concert with Tom back in the band, and it was a really good show. It was a really good time. The opening band Turnstile was pretty good too, and actually there was another opening band, but I ended up missing them by being just a few minutes late, but that's alright. I got to see what I went there for, and I had a blast. I even chatted it up with a couple of people that were also there. As I always try to make it a point whenever I go to concerts to talk to new people that are like sitting around me. It's always a fun time because it pushes me out of my comfort zone and I can always find common ground with the people that I'm talking to there. Oh, and before the Blink show, I was able to get a t-shirt and a bumper sticker, and right before the concert ended, I was able to catch a piece of the confetti that was flying into the crowd, and that was pretty cool. I will say that the one downside to the whole experience of going to the Blink concert was when I lost my car, which happens at almost every venue or concert I go to. And it was pretty much the same case when I seen Dead & Company a couple of weeks back, as that was a show that I went to in Cincinnati, and it was pretty cool. I ran into one of my friends there, and it was good to see a familiar face there, and I chatted it up with a few strangers there and had a really good time. I came back with a really bad cold, and it was worth it. It was worth it. It was a lot of fun. Plus, it was even fun to be stuck in the rain when it started raining through the first set. And I'd never really encountered that concert before, but it was a good experience overall. And just like with the Blink concert, I had trouble finding my car after the show, which took a little while, but once I was able to find it, everything was good again. Despite the fact that I didn't buy any merchandise at the Dead show, I did happen to go on eBay and pick up one of the commemorative pin badges from that show, so I do have a little piece of merchandise from that concert. Now, even though we're halfway through 2023 at the time of recording this, I still got a lot of stuff planned for the remainder of the year, as I decided that I'm going to go skydiving in August when I go to the SRX race in Eldora. So I will pretty much make a whole day adventure out of it, go skydiving for the first time, and go see a good race. I'm really looking forward to it, folks. Speaking of going to the races, I'm still going to Talladega in October with my friend Charlie, and that's going to be a really good time, because I've never been to Talladega or Alabama, and it'll be really cool to go somewhere new. I'm not really sure which one of these pin badges I like more, the Dead & Company badge that I got for the Cincinnati show, or this rare Sonic Extreme pin that I was able to get my hands on. Oh, and speaking of Sonic, there's a new Sonic game on the way called Sonic Superstars, and it looks like it's going to be a really good time, and it's kind of in the style of the old school classic games, but with a little bit of modern polish. And it just looks like it's going to be a really good game, and everything I've heard and seen so far makes it look really good. So I'm really looking forward to getting it. I think most of my money is going to be gone the day that comes out, because that comes out at the same time as the Mario RPG remake. And that looks like it's going to be a really good time too, because I liked Mario RPG, I just didn't play it all the way through. I used to have it back in high school because I bought it from my friend Mikey for like $10 and played it on my Super Nintendo for a while, but I just never completed it. I don't know why, but maybe this is my chance to finally go back and complete it. Oh, speaking of Sonic, you can't really say Sonic without thinking about Sega, and I finally got my hands on a Sega CD console, completing my Genesis stack with the Genesis Model 2 and 32X, and I can now enjoy all the goodness that the Sega Genesis has to offer. And of course, behind the scenes, I'm still working on plenty of YouTube content. I'm still working on the Fromark Plays show, where I play my video games over here. I'm getting plenty of stuff recorded to have on back burner for the rest of the year, so I don't have to worry about it. Just film it now and worry about it later. And I gotta say, folks, I thank you all for tuning in this far, because I've reached 25,000 views on this channel, which is something I never thought would happen with this little Fromark channel, but it wouldn't be possible without you guys, so thanks. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode. That's about all I've got to talk about this time around, so until the next time I make one of these Fromark talks, or if you watch any of my other stuff, feel free to check that out. But until the next time I make an episode, this has been Fromark of the Fromark Talks and Fromark Plays show and Fromark channel. Fromark, Fromark, Fromark! Yeah! Anyways, folks, I'll see you in whatever it is I do next. I'll see you later.